Hi everyone, welcome to IASbaba Toppers Talk, and today we have All India Rank 2 JAGRATI Awasthhi with us. She's a regular follower and a part of our IMP program. Adi, congratulations from the entire team of IASbaba JAGRATI.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So in today's video, right, we'll be focusing on, unlike the other strategy videos, we'll be focusing on the gray areas. That's what I had done even with Arjun, All India Rank 16. And the other focus would be on for the beginners. There are a lot of doubts like how to make notes, how to schedule your day, especially with respect to current affairs, revision, all that. So we'll be focusing on these two aspects in today's discussion. And before that, if you can introduce yourself to the students, that would be great.
Uh, Hello, everyone. My name is Jagrati Awasthhi. I'll tell you about my background. I'm an electrical engineer. I completed BTech in 2017 from NIT Bhopal, Manet. And then I joined BHEL Bhopal. I gave GATE and I secured All India Rank 51. I joined BHEL as an engineer. I worked there for 2 years till July 2019. This was my second attempt. I gave my first attempt in June 2019, just before I left my service. And I failed that at prelims, so which was a trigger factor why I decided to leave my job. This year around, one full year of dedicated preparation from July 2019 to October 2020, and then entire 1 year of cycle of prelims. And it has been a wonderful journey. All's well that ends well. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, and getting into that single digit rank is not something, I mean, that's easily achievable or easily done. It's a great feat. Once again, congratulations for that. And did you know that, okay, probably you'll be in that top 10, or how was your feeling when you saw your name in that list?
It was unexpected. I think no matter how good one writes the papers, how good we give our interviews, top 10 ranks are unpredictable.
Yeah.
I hoped to find my name in the list because my mains went well, interview was also all right. So I thought it should be in the list, but top rank, no expectation.
Okay. Yeah. And like, what was your UPSC journey like? Already you have given us a few insights into your UPSC journey. So here, if you can focus on the mistakes that was done and how did you correct, and what made you get that top rank?
Sir, in my entire journey, one thing if I've learned, the biggest mistake which I made, others also make, is not understanding the demands of the syllabus.
Yeah.
UPSC
Right.
is not an exam which has some people say it has everything under the roof.
Yeah.
And if you go on doing that, I think syllabus will never be completed.
Yeah.
What I did when I took my I left my job a month. I understood the syllabus, but how to understand it? I took a printout and I took previous year questions, topic wise segregated, both pre and mains, and I mapped them. Topic wise, I mapped them. I focus a lot on understanding them. If I couldn't understand in English because I'm from a Hindi language belt,
Okay.
so I understood it Hindi. In any medium, you can understand it. Once I understood the questions, I knew what has to be read. Once I'll start preparing, where I have to focus in the books and everything. So I would advise every aspirant, if you are starting the journey, get hold of the syllabus in a very comprehensive manner. Whenever you'll study, you'll know what you have to focus, where you'll have to focus. This is one mistake which I'll say I learned in this entire thing. Then the second thing which some candidates miss out upon is that they do not complete their syllabus. Now read it extensively instead of focusing on a few things intensively. We are not here to become historians or experts of geography. We are
Yeah.
here to clear the exam. So read everything because three stages are there. Somewhere or the else, every topic will be touched. So
Yeah.
complete your entire syllabus. Revise, practice. Practice is good, feedback is even better. Because if you don't work on your mistakes, there's no point of practicing. You're just repeating your mistakes. I think these are broad guidelines, broad mistakes that I faced in my first attempt, and many other like me must be facing.
Yeah, in fact, that is the right way to start off one's preparation. As you said, mapping of
Yes,
the
sir.
syllabus,
Syllabus.
Right, that's very important in previous year questions. I think that would be the best guide for or best mentor for any UPSC aspirant, and that is the foundation,
Sure.
right? And
Sure.
as you said, practice and applying that, right? The reading and application of it, the other important part of the preparation. Yeah. With that, let's get into the strategy part of it in prelims.
Sure. Sure.
Going with the focus of, as I said earlier, we'll focus on the gray areas like environment, science and tech, uh, art and culture, ancient history, medieval history, and even in the recent times, if you look at the paper, questions are coming from agriculture, especially in prelims. Yeah. So, what was your strategy like for these subjects, both from prelims and mains perspective?
So for environment, focus on basics. Uh, Class 11th NCERT, chemistry. There is
Okay.
a topic on environmental chemistry. In class 12th biology, there are 4 chapters on environment and ecology. Brush up the concepts from there. You can use YouTube videos, small animated videos for school children, and people are there. So read through them. They'll explain in the most simple way it's possible, in the most brief way it is possible. Once these basics have been cleared up, focus on current affairs. One can take any compilation, whatever suits them. Then in that compilation, pick up the keywords. For example, if there is say India ratifies Kigali Amendment, recently it was.
Yeah.
One should pick up Kigali Amendment, read its history, Montreal Protocol, then it's Kigali Amendment, whether it's binding or not binding, what is India's position right now. And then, as you said, for mains also, this will work for prelims. For mains, focus on areas like why CFC, why is still being used, why HFC is still being used, what is the issue with olefins, which are being sought as its alternate, what will happen if we do not stop, or what is the impact of climate change on all of this, then ozone and smog, just all that mind map. I think IASbaba has a lot of mind maps on such
Yeah.
topics, and for not for prelims, for mains they are very important.
Yeah.
Because
Definitely.
comprehensively they'll be covering what the issue is, cons and advantages and way forward and what the government is doing. So it gives you a broad idea in a single page. I used IASbaba mind maps for my mains. So that can be utilized, and that gives you a comprehensive. So you can just go through the topics wherever mind maps are available. They're topic wise. Select the topics and just keep a printout of them with your own notes.
Yeah.
This can be an approach in environment particularly. Mapping is important. National park, which is in news, and even if it is not in news, it is an important national park, then what river is flowing around it?
Yeah.
Is it associated with some kind of special animal? In
Yeah.
this prints, it was Kanha and Barasingha.
Yeah.
Uh, so you cannot read every animal, every national park, but if there's a
Definitely.
special animal associated with any park, like rhinos in Kaziranga. So focus on those kind of things. Be very smart. Analyze past year questions. So I think past year question because environment is very vague and very wide sometimes.
Yeah.
So apart from these compilation, pick up previous year questions for pre and mains of them, and pick the keywords. If they're asking about some kind of technology, say stratospheric clouding or whitening or something like that,
Yeah.
then what is it? How does it work? What is global warming? What is greenhouse gas? So comprehensive study will take you places in these subjects, because it is getting very unexpected. Questions will come from nobody knows how they are going to frame the question. Second is, have a very comprehensive approach when you're attempting the questions. Don't think like an environmentalist. Just think like a person who would make a policy. If we were to make it, we will make it to cover all aspects. We will not only include governments but also private
Yeah.
parties. So it will be multi-stakeholder. Some statements
Multi-stakeholders.
have that it includes private parties and all those multi-stakeholders. Then it will not be, if we are talking about drought, then along with drought, desertification, water conservation, watershed management. So policies are now being framed that way. So smart guesswork is needed. So your knowledge and your common sense need to be applied together
Yeah.
in these subjects
Definitely.
particularly, because there is no fixed syllabus, there is no fixed resource which one can simply read and just go about it.
Yeah. Okay. You have given a very good example on how to read a subject with environment as the topic. That will definitely help a lot of students in understanding the nuances of it.
So,
What about science and tech? Uh, how to read, or even art and culture, medieval and ancient? What sources to refer as well?
sir, I'll now go subject wise.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
one more thing, when I say Google something, it means just type. Say, I just take example Kigali Amendment. I read Kigali Amendment UPSC.
Yeah.
So all the relevant material will come. And when I do this multiple times, I started figuring out which ones I have to defer. For example, in mains, Rajya Sabha TV summary comes on IASbaba.
Yeah.
So I did not read, I did not listen to the videos because it's 30-minute videos. We did not have time sometime. So I would simply go there. I would copy paste it on my Word document and delete the parts which I don't want. So I will
Okay.
create a synopsis of it. So such a smart work is also needed.
Definitely.
Then now coming to science and tech. Focus on whatever is happening around the world. New technologies. Nobel Prize, where is it being awarded? Then in India, space missions are very important. If
Yeah.
there is a NASA mission, which is very, very important, it is in news or it has created a milestone, then you must know about it and know about it in a comprehensive manner. For ISRO missions also, past missions, missions which are coming up. So it doesn't mean that you have to mug up everything. Have an idea. Then if you're reading about space and the word comes, it is a geostationary satellite. Pick up each word. What is geostationary? Is there something called as something else like geosynchronous, polar orbit, all these things? So what will happen? You're reading one thing, but covering a lot of topics together. So these parts then they add up together to make the entire subject properly. In science, current affairs, so any compilation one can take. Science Monitor on Rajya Sabha TV is a good watch, especially if
Okay.
you have some issues. Videos on YouTube for understanding the concepts. It is a great source. I mean, it explains comprehensively if you have any issue with the conceptual part of a thing. So very smartly understand, keep understanding. New technologies which are coming, just have in mind a common sense that it will be sustainable because the entire world is moving to a sustainable technology.
Yeah.
Like there was carbon nanotube question that it is biodegradable or not biodegradable.
Yeah.
Just think about it that if new technologies are coming,
Yeah.
it will be sustainable anyhow because we are moving
Yeah.
towards that direction. No
Definitely.
need to read. No need to read on that. Just have that kind of mindset.
Yeah.
I think science and tech can be covered likewise. So, it is not that big an issue. Just awareness is very important and reading between the lines. As I said, pick up the
Yeah.
keywords and read.
Yeah.
Now, sir, I would like to give one tip to the aspirants.
Okay.
The way to read these compilations, print them one side blank, one side printed. So that on the blank side, you can elaborate on the
Yeah.
keywords. And this will help. This will, this will make it very comprehensive. So even
Okay.
if you are starting, you can take a compilation, take the keywords and keep reading. I think
Mm-hmm.
that this is one of the best ways to complete. I mean, it is a bit unconventional, but it works.
Yeah. Fine. Then the art
Then
and
sir,
yeah.
art and culture. Art and culture is also very enormous. Now I referred to Nitin Singhania sir's handwritten notes. Along with that, fine arts NCRT. There are boxes in each chapter where important monuments are discussed. So those boxes and glossary at the end, 5 pages. This year prelims, one question was from the glossary itself. Shraman,
Okay.
they had asked the word. It is given
Yeah.
the glossary. So read that glossary. And Tamil Nadu board 11th class book. It has art and culture integrated with the history portion.
Okay.
So if I had to read about Indus Valley art, first thing I did was I read the chapter from Tamil Nadu board. Because art and culture does not develop in isolation, it develops in the
Yeah.
context of the history.
Yeah. Definitely.
So keep it. I integrated art and culture and ancient. It was never separate from me.
Yeah.
If I'm reading Indus Valley civilization, I read its art and culture also.
Yeah.
So from Tamil Nadu board, I would be completing my history portion. going to Nitin Singhania sir's book and completing those portions. I use a lot of photographic memory techniques. I would watch small videos of those places.
Okay.
It is available on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you a lasting impact.
Okay.
And do that for entire syllabus.
Mm-hmm.
And for mains, art and culture, when it is asked in mains, it is a bit analytical. So just see why things are developing. If temple architecture is becoming prominent, it is because idol worship is becoming prominent. And you need a place to keep those idols.
Yeah.
So Gandhara art and these things, they prompted for idol worship. Idol worship led to beginning of temple architecture. So if one, and then so there's a period in a postmodern when we see a lot of mixing of cultures and new cultural forms coming up. So one has to analyze how polity, economy of that period is impacting the art of that period. So my advice would be to keep it integrated because it will generate interest. And then previous year questions like Buddhism, Jainism, they'll ask in really good depth. So it is important to have a thorough understanding of these topics in particular. So for that, one can always Google things and read.
Okay.
This is for art and culture.
So yeah, as you said, art and culture is nothing but a mix of ancient and medieval. That is how it should be read.
Yes, sir.
Did you refer to the NCRTs for ancient and medieval, or was it the Tamil Nadu state books?
Sir, actually, I read ancient NCRT once, and I found it to be a bit bulky,
Okay.
especially those not with history background or not with history optional. I think it comes with a lot of extra information which may not have a very good cost benefit ratio.
Okay.
So I would not advise the aspirants who are not from history optional to go through NCRTs for ancient and medieval. Better stick to Tamil Nadu boards.
Okay. Fine. And of late, agriculture section is also focused, right? So, what are the sources to refer, and how did you actually prepare for it?
In agriculture, again, new technologies are coming. Keep in mind they will be sustainable.
Yeah.
Unless they are destructive practices, they will be sustainable technologies like biocar. I think question came on biochar or biocar. I don't know the pronunciation.
Okay.
So question came. So it is used as fertilizer. Yes, it is used as fertilizer. So because new technologies, they'll be sustainable. Agriculture get a hold of the factual information through NCRT of geography. Now in 12th NCRT or 11th geography NCRT, there is a chapter on land resources, which will tell you what is current fallow, what is wasteland, and all those things. Net cultivated area, net sown area, and all these kind of. So just get hold of the factual information, which season crops are grown, where they are grown, special characteristic, if any, associated with a crop, especially important crops. For sugarcane, it is said that it cannot stand frost. It cannot stand water clogging. So these kind of it is water intensive but cannot stand water clogging. These kind of small facts for wheat, rice, sugarcane, maize, because I think there was a question on crops in prelims 2020 as well. Coming to the now current affairs portions, new technologies questions are asked. I think it was no plow agriculture this year in prelims. So one thing you have to keep in mind is whatever new practices are coming, they are all sustainable practices. Unless obviously if they are destructive in nature, otherwise they'll be sustainable. So focus likewise, think accordingly, do some smart work. If you're taking a guess, sustainability has to be a point in point that you have to keep in mind. For schemes, just Google Agriculture Vikaspedia and a list of schemes will come. And I think they have a scheme also segregated by insurance schemes and a scheme for seed. Go through the names of the schemes, and then you can complete them from anywhere. Either you can Google it on, Google, like a scheme UPSC, something like that, or you can read it. If it is a news or it is a new announcement, it will be anyway very, very important. So if it is an important scheme, it will be covered in the compilation. You can do it from there. Or you can simply Google, say Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana UPSC. So you start getting the new developments in that scheme. This way, complete the important schemes and schemes at all stages. One thing I was missing out is forward and backward linkages. to comprehensively cover it, because almost all of us have a fair idea about how farming works.
Yeah.
Land, water, fertilizer, seed, backward linkages I'm talking about, seed, then water, electricity, these kind of things. Just segregate it, what government is doing, what is the problem that is associated, what more needs to be done, which areas are doing excellently. On Wikipedia, you can find 2 or 3 case studies. They have best practices, a list of those. 2 or 3 lines, makes notes of them. This will be value addition in names. This makes your answers different from others.
Yeah, definitely, yes.
There is one university in Punjab, Lyalpur University. Now, what they do for rice is, they take some synthetic sheet, spread it on the floor, fill it with soil, and then grow rice there, which is less water intensive. This is a best practice. If you are writing on water productivity of agriculture, you can work there.
Definitely, yeah.
So this way you have to think, what are the challenges in each of these inputs? Then we move to forward linkages. What are forward linkages? Harvest has been done, storage problem, wastage problem, procurement problem. Procurement, then there are a lot of issues. Pricing is not correct, transportation facility is missing, price dispersion is huge. This PDS system working is also not proper. FCI is having certain issues. What good also they have, not just issues, because we tend to have this kind of mindset that let's only read issues. There are also advantages. So read these kind of things. So mains will give you a very balanced thing. So prepare this way: forward linkages, backward linkages, and have pick up any crop and complete its entire cycle from seed to the food in the plate.
Yeah.
So this has to be the approach.
No, that's a very nice approach, actually. Yeah, go ahead. You wanted to say something.
This is for agriculture. In agriculture, questions can be unpredictable. Remember one thing for prelims: you are not there to write every question. If you find a question is too typical, no guesswork can be made. You can always leave it. 5-10 questions can be left also. There is no problem in that. So don't chase minute details. Now that if maize, there is some variety in maize and you start reading about the variety itself, don't do that. Cost benefit ratio has to be balanced. But overall, what I told, the subject will get fairly completed. And for mains, you will have very good approach if you have, for each backward and forward linkages, you have points ready made. Also follow mind maps. They'll give you a comprehensive approach to the subject.
Yeah. Jagrati, what you said about the agriculture, that example was very apt, and I think that's what students should look into. It's more than, see, there are 3 things in UPSC. One is what to read, what not to read, and third thing is how to read. That is where most of the students falter. Though they understand, they get to the stage of what not to read, then how to read becomes very important, and you have beautifully explained with that example: forward linkage, backward linkage, and the thought process. Any new technology coming in, the sustainability factor is what you should look into. These things actually help us in eliminating the
elimination. Yes.
So that's a very good example from both prelims and mains perspective. Fine. Since we are discussing about the prelims part, and you have covered, not almost, you have covered every gray area of it, starting from what do you say, the science and tech till the agriculture part of it. Coming to the general part of it, like, since the prelims is also around the corner, there are 10 days for prelims exam. So what is the advice that you want to give? That is one part of it. The other thing is prelims, the do's and don'ts of it.
For prelims, those who are giving it on 10th, to them I would just say, you have read enough. Have faith in yourself. 10 days are there. Pick up 9 papers. Every morning sit with it. Don't get bogged down if you don't know something. Just figure out and read it. For example, if a question from polity, especially like for me, it was emergency and fundamental rights. I used to forget a lot. So just pick up your books and brush up the concepts. Maybe the question might come in your final exam. So for those students, and keep hope. So nowadays, I think prelims is not only checking factual knowledge, but also confidence of the student in the exam hall. Unpredictable questions will be there. Hardly 30-40 questions you will be knowing. Rest, elimination, some will be totally out of league. So
Yeah.
have a smart strategy, know which questions to leave. Don't go for wild guess that A, B, C, D, okay, D. Don't do
Yeah.
that. Smart guessing is needed. If you reach to 50-50, just do it.
Yeah.
Have faith,
So
sir.
yeah.
And just make sure that your entire this elimination and guessing game, it doesn't take you into any negative.
Yeah.
Overall, there should be a positive outcome from that.
Yeah.
Sir.
So that's what minimum questions would be like at least 70 a student has to attempt. From 70 to 80 or 85 to 90 or 95 depends on that day, the difficulty of the paper. Right?
Definitely, sir.
Yeah.
But I think have an approach. For me, it was at least 90 questions I will attempt.
Yeah, that's what it depends on person to person.
But
And
when the yes, sir. But when the day came,
yeah,
the questions were so out of league that I couldn't make. I had no idea how to guess it. Better
yeah,
leave it. The
yeah.
cutoff this time is around 92.
92. Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's
No, yeah, because last time, no, there was a notion of in everybody's head or everybody's mind that you have to attempt 90 or 95. And many got negatives. Many, because of negativity, many faltered.
yes, sir. This was even if this year I think somebody would have 50 questions correctly and would have controlled negatives. The
Yeah.
person has got through.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely is. And that is the reason, as you also pointed it out, apart from knowledge, it's also checking your presence of mind, your confidence, your calmness,
Sir,
right?
I want to actually quote you only. In
Okay.
my interview session, in our one-to-one session, you told me that go with the entire RAM available in your mind. No
Yeah.
preconceived
Same
notions. I am
notions.
there to perform.
Yeah.
I'm not there with the mindset that I have to do 90 questions or I have to do 100 questions. Whatever
Yeah.
has come, I'll make my strategy there
Yeah.
with full
There.
composure. So students should follow it. Don't go with preconceived notions.
Yeah.
Otherwise, say you said to yourself, I'll do 90 questions
Yeah.
100%. And the first 10 questions were the most difficult ones.
Yeah.
Then your confidence will start faltering. You will start making
Definitely.
silly mistakes.
Yeah.
So
So,
composure is checked at even at prelims stage. Confidence is checked at prelims stage. This is for the 10 people having on 10th of October. So
yeah.
keep your composure there. You know everything, and whatever you know, most of the people there they know the similar
Yeah.
amount of
Definitely.
knowledge. For those who are going to give it next year or are planning further, while reading and preparing, prepare holistically, not for pre and not for mains. Holistic
Definitely.
understanding of the syllabus. When it is for me, it was 3 months before the exam prelims. I started giving mock tests. Subjects were already completed. I picked up a full length mock test and mix the test series. I mean, go for you can with your friends. For me, it was a few tests, and IASbaba was also in one of them, and two more. So we used to mix it. Some of us were together, so we used to mix and match the test series. So
Okay.
everybody has a right orientation of mind. You are flexible in your approach
Yeah.
because sometimes your test series would be too tough or
Yeah.
sometimes so we would be not be feeling confident or something. Sometimes IASbaba would be up to the mark where UPSC stands, others would get difficult because each mock test is designed for making the
Yeah. Yeah.
candidate mentally prepared.
Yeah. Definitely. Even when we set up that we give 5 full-length mock tests. So
So
so we'll make sure that every test is designed at a different level so that the student gets a feel of every kind of paper. So
yes
that is
sir,
the
they were
overall intention.
surprising.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's actually those tests they were surprising.
Yeah.
That one cannot have a fixed state of mind. You have to
Definitely.
be flexible as per the paper.
Yeah.
So this would be for prelims. 3 months before the exam, actual exam, I started practicing. I would have practiced around 60 mocks. I
Okay.
think 60. They are a lot. Don't
Yeah.
do that because if you don't work on your feedback, it's of no use.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's not just about checking. Tests are not for checking your knowledge, but for improving it. So work on feedback. So now, how to analyze your test? Take a diary or something and divide it into subjects. Whichever topic you commit a mistake in test, just write the topic, not the question, the topic, and read it from the book, not from the solution, so that you cover it comprehensively. If you do that for each test that you give, you'll be revising your syllabus a lot of times. Also, make a table of how many elimination were correct, how many were incorrect, which subject guesswork is working, which subject it is not working. Overall, whether the outcome is positive or it is negative. So you can decide how much you have to guess, to what extent your guesswork is actually making sense. So in actual exam, you'll be very comfortable. This must be the approach.
Yeah, that analysis after the test is very important.
So,
Because you need to divide, like whether you're getting an answer wrong because of lack of revision, or is it because
or
of lack
lack
of
of, yes,
clarity, right?
yes,
Or is it because of overconfidence in that subject, not reading the complete sentence, or is it a wild guess? So I
so,
usually tell the students to divide it into 4 parts and see which area you're getting it wrong, and try to work on that area. If it's revision, more number of wrongs in revision, then your duty is to go back and revise. And also say, suppose you get an answer wrong in some governor's discretionary power, you go back to the standard books, go back to Lakshmikant, see through that entire power of the governor. So that will be like a revision as well. I think that approach works out well for the students, right? They should definitely follow this. And now, since we have discussed a lot on prelims, we'll move on to the mains part of it. What was your strategy for mains?
for males, the approach changes. Instead of factual, now they are going to be more opinionated, analytical questions.
Yeah.
Uh, One thing I would add that for prelims, I did not make any notes. I
Okay.
only made notes for mains, that too very synoptic. I took a sheet of paper for each topic and I started thinking about it. What is happening presently? Say globalization or privatization or any topic for that matter. What is happening presently? What are its advantages or whatever disadvantages are there? What the government is doing? What more needs to be done? And what is my vision about it? So I would divide it into 3, 4 parts and I would study anything from this perspective because it means a combination of these will be asked.
Yeah.
Further, a holistic outlook, social, political, economic, environmental, governance, and every thing from every angle. So now for
Uh,
means, you can
yeah.
also go through these mind maps. The reason I'm repeating this mind map again and again is because I've used it and it is very, very useful. Rajya Sabha TV summaries are available. Don't listen to the videos because it will be time taking. As I'll repeat myself, copy paste into Word document, delete the portion that you do not need to revise, and just keep the synoptic points. This should be the approach because you need to recollect and also produce in just 7 minutes for 10 markers and
Yeah.
10 minutes for 15 markers. So
Yeah.
this approach helps in mains. Also for mains answer writing, there is a platform TLP series. I think it's Think, Learn, Perform, IASbaba.
Yeah.
They have an entire schedule where subject-wise 5 questions each day they give. So you can solve those questions and then next day synopsis will come. So compare your answers. Now I had a trick. I used to write it a day later. So that
Okay.
answer were already there. I would write and check it simultaneously. How it has to be used, just see what new points they are covering and what points you were missing. The structure of the answer. So 5 questions each day, actually it doesn't take very long. An hour, you can sit for an hour, the topic will be completed and short notes, so 2 hours exercise each day. It helps improve your thinking ability because we are reading a particular subject. So we can collect all the questions, post it over a period of time, and we can do all those questions if you are taking the previous year TLP because it is in 2 phases.
Yeah.
Otherwise, for practice each day 5 questions, so 2 hours, 1 hour for writing, 1 hour for analysis, and wonderful source, very rich quality. For
Thank you.
mains answer writing, when to begin?
Yeah.
This is where I had a lot of issues. Don't start writing it just when you have started. You do not have enough knowledge.
Yeah.
Then how to proceed? Pick up previous year questions of mains. Write 2 or 3 questions, or I used to write 20 questions per month. I'll pick a question, I'll write it once. And suppose if I haven't read it, I would go back, I'll read the entire content, analyze the keyword, what keyword, analyze, discuss, particularly. I think
The keywords.
IASbaba has a very comprehensive blog on that in a very
Yeah.
funny way. Like where you have to be like Kapil Dev and you have to be like some commentary based thing.
Yeah, I had actually made a video itself, a series called Aware, Answer Writing
So,
Redefined. In fact, I've explained every keyword also there. Apart from the write-up that we have put, I've also made a series recently.
so
Okay.
just go through that series so you know what is asked in the question. After that, write it. Take 20 minutes, 30 minutes. This is the preparation time. When you are reading it for the first time, then again see the answer yourself. Can it be made better? Could any diagram be introduced? Could presentation be improved?
Yeah.
Again, write it. Now, further improvements if possible, again make it. Unless you make it perfect as per yourself, keep writing. It will take around 2 hours maybe for one question, and for 20 questions a month, do it for different subjects and previous year mains questions. When you do this exercise for 3-4 months, you will start writing it perfectly in a single go itself.
Yeah.
Because the structure will be on your tips now. You know where to draw diagram, what kind of diagram to draw, whether points or paragraph or what. Conclusion and introduction. Prepare a data sheet on each topic, women, forest, tribe. Every topic, just prepare a data sheet. So that can be used in your introductions. For conclusion, similarly, some kind of quotations like Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas, or if you are writing for inclusive growth, use the Sarvodaya concept of Gandhiji, that everybody from the grassroots has to rise for the real development in order to fulfill Gandhi's vision of Sarvodaya in India. It gives a good, decent finish to it. So this should be your approach. Be very optimistic with your conclusion. If it is international relation, even if it is about India's inimical neighbors, then also if it is with Pakistan, say, then write it that the two neighbors need to engage for the entire peace and prosperity of the region, and overcoming the challenges and engaging on multilateral platforms is a prerequisite or something like that. So you're a person who loves peace. You are a person who likes to resolve issues and not prolong them.
Yeah, definitely.
Such kind of, now since entire year or for 3-4 months when you are reading, you have already written 20 questions each month. 60-70 questions will give you a fair idea about the structure part. After you have cleared your, after you have written your prelims, just start with professional answer writing, TLP series. Start with a test series if you want. There are also, because in TLP, the only thing is you don't get it corrected by an expert. So I think there's TLP plus or something like that,
Yeah.
which also
Where
provides correction.
every copy gets evaluated.
Yes.
Yeah. And
So
there's
you
a
can
mentor
go,
as well.
so you can go for that. And those who cannot afford anyway, the free platform is also there. Only the best, it cannot be corrected.
See, the quality is definitely maintained.
Quality is the
and
same.
Synopsis is given. Even
Quality
like
remains higher.
Evaluation happens not for everybody, but
For
in a day
selected
we
copies.
fix. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do evaluation. Yeah.
For random copies, evaluation is done and feedback is given. But for more professional help, one can always take the plus TLP plus thing so that you have a better grasp on your mistakes and feedback. This should be your approach. It means speed matters, and speed matters a lot. Honestly, I missed one question in my optional 10 marker. So, and that regret is still there, maybe.
Okay.
That I could not give my best. The thing is that I could have written, but I couldn't. Use a good quality pen because your pen should be gliding on paper. Use Trimax. I use Trimax. I'm not endorsing anything, but sir, it helps. It doesn't strain your nerves. Find a good pen for yourself. It suited me, so I wrote it, and you can find it for yourself. Your entire means ethics is one thing that we are missing on.
Yeah.
Ethics is more about your own personality, the positivity that one carries. The preparation will be that you can have keywords in the entire syllabus, Google it, make standard definitions, write some quotations on them, write some examples from personal life and also from international relations or something. For example, if somebody says that this year it was that if you want to find yourself, be lost in the service of others, something like that. So we give examples there are activists like Medha Patkar or Greta Thunberg, Malala Yousafzai. Now, in essay, the positive thing is you can always corner yourself from any kind of debate by giving good logic. But these girls, they are working towards a social cause. And this is their source of identity.
Definitely.
So these kind of examples will help. If there is something, there was this year that nation's spirit and something that if they are blinded by self-interest, it is actually going to lead, it leads to self-destruction. So give example of Nazi Germany. It shows that you have a very good grasp on the concepts. For case studies, while you're reading ethics, say you are reading it for a month completely, when you're preparing, every day write a case study. Case study does not require any technical information. It is how you approach things. Think like an administrator. Think like a person who is committed to the cause of social service, peace, constitutional ideals. This year, there was a question on weapon ethics in weapon trade.
Yeah.
So write everything, what is asked. But conclusion, I gave my point of view that Mahatma Gandhi said, violence is a messy weapon. It can never have a lasting peace. Weapon procurement is not just for collecting them, but there is intention to also use. So regional peace is actually destabilized. So ultimately, the greatest or the highest ethical standards would be a weapon-free world. However,
Very,
till
very
then,
good conclusion.
yeah, but however, till then, whatever trade takes place, it must be ensured that the humanity is not harmed or something like that. Now, it was not asked, but what does it show? It shows that you know that ultimately I want a world which is free of weapons. So these kind of approach, practical yet idealistic, at least we want to be idealistic. We have to give practical answers, but at least that we wish to reach that level. Show that in your answers. And practice is must, even for case studies as well. There's no doubt. So daily write one and only write previous year case studies because they have a good coverage, good quality. And when you're giving test series or TLP, you can take a lot of help. This essay, one thing I want to add essay also. Now let's start with essay. Essay is also very important, 250 marks, just 2 essays. And how to approach is, you already have enough information from GS. I would like to give you one important source, Anudeep Durishetty sir, 2017 AIR1. His blog is there.
Yeah.
And he has shared his entire strategy and his sample essay, his notes and quotation. I read that 3-4 times. And his notes, I got them printed and they were my notes.
Yeah.
Now, sir has a very beautiful style of writing, Anudeep sir. I copied it with my own taste, obviously. When I was writing answers, I did not have any time for any test series for essay, and I think it was not important either. So my colleague from my previous workplace, he used to evaluate them.
Okay.
He's a well-read person, so I took his help. Now add your own points to it. There are many people who have read the same sources as you. What is your take? So in essays, holistic and everything you will get, economic, social, political, environmental, IR, everything you have to cover. Also give your own experience. There was an essay on patriarchy. What I did was the life of a woman. For example, in introductions, I started with facts. It is said that essay should not be started with facts. That is a GS approach. I said, let us ponder over a few points. There is no woman in top 10 richest individuals in the world. USA has never had a woman president. Indian women industrialists can be counted on fingers of a single hand. So what does this show? Is this just a coincidence or something deep-rooted social structure which is discriminating against women? This was my introduction. And then I picked up from there that, patriarchy. And then I took the life of a woman. She is born, then feticide thing, sex ratio data and everything I added there. Then malnourishment, education. After education, then in employment sector. After employment, I added some sectors of personal life, like marriage. I wrote, women are supposed to change their surnames after marriage. They are supposed to leave their parents' house after marriage. Why not the same rules for men? And it is not specific to India, be it India or even Western countries or any religion. These things are common. So why so much discrimination? I wrote these kind of examples and I think it worked well. I got 132 in essays and I had no professional training in anything, but I give these kind of examples.
I think this year it's a very good score, 132 in essay.
Sir, I balanced my preparation actually. It was for me that I have to do good in all of the subjects.
Yeah.
So I haven't scored too high in any of them and neither too low.
Okay. So everything is fallen in place.
Yes, sir. Everything was in place. Again, coming to essay, when you are concluding it, Anudeep sir has given a list of quotations. I used 2 of them in my own. For women, I just wrote that 50% of the population is women. The bird of India needs 2 wings to fly. As Swami Vivekananda said, that unless both the wings are strong enough, the bird cannot reach heights. So let us strengthen our women, let us strengthen our country. Something
Okay.
likewise. So be
Okay.
very optimistic, be very creative. It gives a lot of creative freedom for essay writing. So just be yourself, and for practice, I wrote 6 to 7 previous year essays and got it evaluated. Time management is not a problem for essay. Just make a rough outline on the back of the page, rough pages are given, and then accordingly, frame your essay. This way essay can work.
Okay. Coming to philosophical essays,
So,
if you can give your thoughts on that.
sir, on philosophical essays, I think first thing is understand the statement. It is very
Yeah.
vague. This year I wrote life is a journey from being human to being humane. So I could not think of any good examples. So what I did, I gave definition. Again, it is said essay should not be started with definition. But if you're interesting enough, then I said most dictionaries define human being as a biological entity of the family Homo sapien. However, the notion of human has something more to it. This is being humane, something likewise. And then I read when a person is born as an infant is not very much different from the other infants of the animal
Species.
kingdom. Yes, of the something like that. So what sets him apart, or what sets her apart in essays, be very gender sensitive.
Yeah.
This is very important. So what sets her apart is the entire process of socialization through the life.
Yeah.
Humane tendencies are learned, and something like that I feel. Then think from different angles. You say humane, human. Now again, human is more like the material needs and everything. Humane is thinking about others.
Yeah.
So let us start personal life. When a small child is playing on Diwali, enjoys burning crackers, grows up, and then starts caring for the environment. Likewise, I gave example of doctors in COVID. They are human beings, and the first instinct is to protect themselves. Today, they are standing there and they are protecting others. Likewise, I gave examples on international level. World War I, World War II. So wars were a thing of the past. Now we are moving towards cooperation. Multilateral organizations are coming up. So even the world is also moving like that. Economy from capitalism, mercantilism to now we have something GDP growth. Now we are inclusive development, sustainable development. So life of economy is also like that. Then again, life of society. Past Indian society, discriminatory in nature. Women were discriminated, underprivileged sections. Today, we have affirmative action of, we have affirmative actions like we have reservation for the underprivileged. Earlier, archaic laws and really the decree of the kings used to be the guiding light. Today, constitution, the epitome of humanitarian spirit, is the guiding light. So we see the life of the planet, the life of the people, the countries, everything from human, that is need-based, to now it is society-based. And then what I did was, you can do this in every philosophical essays almost. Just apply it. For example, in economy, I said there's a concept of corporate social responsibility. This is a humane aspect.
Definitely.
The human aspect is production, consumption.
Very good
GDP
example.
growth. So these kind of examples I give. Now again, in philosophical essays, you are telling up everything positive. You're giving a very positive journey. But life is not like that. Show your practical side. What is the problem? Now, since I had sociology optional, so some concepts like general will, particular will, all those things of Rousseau were also, I remember. So I wrote, what happens when the humane is compromised? Then I gave examples. Depression. Why? Because self-interest. We are not even bothered about others. Community life is disappearing. Individualism is on the rise. So these are the problems that are affecting us. I'll give the example of COVID lockdown. Somewhere our human nature went missing when the foot soldiers of Indian economy wanted our help and we all snatched our hands away. So something likewise, that problems are also there. Then the solutions, that a broad consensus that the good of us lies in the good of all.
Okay.
That is, the human can only make the human happy. And then at the end, I use, and again, Anudeep Sir's one quote that the ultimate guiding vision of all lives on this planet should be Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Bhavantu Niramya. That he has mentioned that shloka actually. And then I wrote it, and I wrote it in English, not in Sanskrit. And also mention its meaning in bracket. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, so may all be happy, something like that. And just end it with it. So philosophical essays also cover it in a similar, think about it from different perspectives and try to come up with examples. Again, one example I missed, polity, from authoritarian government to democratic government. This is from human need was just to be governed. Human need is to be governed for the interest of all. Think likewise, all philosophical essays can be thought on those lines. So this was my approach towards essays.
Yeah, very, very enriching examples, very good examples. In fact, I feel even I've learned a lot from you. Yeah, so very good, Jagrati. This will definitely help a lot of students, especially with respect to essay. Yeah, yeah. With that, coming to the mains part itself, there are other two sections that students feel what to do, especially with the history part of it, GS1, and the geography part of it, how it should be studied.
For history, analytical questions are asked. Nobody is going to ask you about mention the wars that were fought or something like that. This year it was Curzon's policy and its consequences. So same resources. I read Spectrum book and followed the same, but changed my approach. TLP will help you there. History particularly I want to emphasize, and many may think that because I'm speaking on the platform, so I'm endorsing. No, history and art and culture, particularly TLP will help you because it is very factual and you have to take concepts out of those facts. Curzon's policies. Now you know the policy, you know the consequences. Just you have to interlink them. History is all about interlinking. History is all about thinking how it shaped the entire society even today. Because, for example, for Curzon's policy, I even gave an example that he had this policy of dividing things. So, so it's like that today, the rich cultural heritage that our forefathers have left us, we should cherish it by standing undivided, no matter what external forces act upon us. Something likewise, that even today you find a lesson from that. So answer writing will help in that portion. You have to interlink the facts, analyze them. For art and culture, similarly, just think about what impact it has. For example, Indus Valley civilization and today, what is the relevance?
Yeah.
So roads, sanitation and Swachh
smart
Bharat,
cities, smart cities and Indus Valley
and smart cities, and there's a concept of citadel and the lower city. Today also, if we see Raisina Hill, Capitol Hill, those kind of things in other countries in India also. So even important places even today are situated in the elevated regions.
Yeah.
So this way, if you write with examples, it has a very lasting impact. And just give a lot of examples in art and culture. Make a map sometimes. This year there was a question on philosophy has shaped the Indian art and architecture. So cover all the philosophies that you remember. From Vedic philosophy now you don't find anything. So right, since there was no concept of idol worship or temple worship, we do not find any prominent architecture from that period. Just a few resources claim that that fire altars were made for fire sacrifice.
Okay.
Even though no architecture, but at least I know that the philosophy had its own part.
Yeah.
Mention all small, it is Shaktism, Bhagavatism, Shaivism, even Islam also, because though it came in medieval period, but it has shaped our architecture today.
Yeah.
So from ancient to medieval to modern, write everything and just analyze it from today's perspective.
Okay, definitely. And coming to geography.
Yes.
In mains.
Geography in mains is more related to current affairs. Actually, this is what I. There was a question on interlinking of rivers. There was a question on this.
Even smart cities was there. There's a question on smart cities, not this year, but 2 years back.
Even on disaster, if I say disaster management is a part of geography, then I'll say questions more that are taking place in the current scenario. Basic concepts like Pacific Zone question was asked. So basic concepts remain the same. They do not change. but more relevant to current time. I mean,
even
urban
pollution,
flooding,
urban
pollution,
flooding,
urban, and for that refer to current affairs material. Rajya Sabha TV summary, as I'm emphasizing again and again, those things will help you, give a very holistic and some dynamic answer. And draw maps in geography, interlinking river and these things, they have remained in news. So make their synoptic notes. Do not go behind reading factual information that is not asked much. State of forest reports was asked because it had been released in the preceding year. So be very thorough with whatever new is coming. This year there was a question on melting of glaciers and the water resources of India because Ministry of Earth Sciences had released its report. So be very thorough with current affairs and be very analytical. Don't think geography from only geographical point of view, also social and economic, political, every way. So it will have a good comprehensive coverage. Also give some good solutions that only maybe you were giving. Urban flooding question was asked this year. So everybody will write clogging and storm drain network, watershed management, sea flows, eye flows. And wetland. I also mentioned examples like smart grids, microgrids, because electrical power failure is often. So in these kind of areas where urban flooding or they're susceptible to flooding, we should have microgrid network in a standby so that we can switch to supplying power in the needs. We can supply our all the services. A sponge city concept. Instead of road of concrete, we use road which is permeable. So water can be recharged, and then on the outskirt of the city, a big tank can be there where all this water is collected and then used in the crisis period. Proper dam management. So just give one or two examples which maybe less students would have written.
Yeah, definitely. And coming to the other part of it, the science and tech and environment for mains, how to deal with, or is it just the current affairs?
It is usually the current affairs and just a little analysis. I think when you read current affairs from mains point of view, you'll get to know mostly current affairs.
Okay, there are but some technical questions as well in science and tech.
I would like to say that if it is too technical, better leave it, because if the cost benefit is too poor, there's no point chasing it. Further, I think there was a question last year or last class about cyber dome, and it was a relatively lesser known thing. Now one cannot go digging up for facts just to solve these one or two questions. If I had been in that place, I would have left it, because I can't complete it. I'll need a lot of time. But for basics, science and tech, ISRO's missions, low Earth orbit kya hota hai, or what is escape velocity, and all these things, at least these you should know. But they don't ask so much technical in mains actually. Even in technical, this year it was like technology and COVID. So give examples. I gave a lot of examples. For testing diagnostic kits, for tracking, and Nadi platform was being used for treating these e-sanjeevani and low-cost ventilators. So give examples. Nanotechnology was asked. So you don't need to be a specialist in nanotechnology. Just think about it. If something is very, very small, it will be non-intrusive. I mean, the surgery will it will be intrusive, but lesser opening of body is required. So the surgeries will be quick in recovery.
Precise.
Precise. Then targeted delivery of drugs. With nano robots. Further are nerves and reconstruction surgeries, because cell is a nano particle. So we can have reconstruction surgeries better. So common sense works more than your technical knowledge. Have common sense.
Yeah, definitely. That common sense helps you in all the three stages.
All the three
Prelims,
stages.
mains, and interview as well.
And that common sense
also.
And that common sense also comes through reading.
Yeah. The more knowledgeable, the well-read you are. I mean, the common sense will actually, the knowledge and common sense should act as complementary. Coming to mains itself, with respect to strategy in writing answers, like do you have to adopt a different strategy for different papers? Like say, suppose I get smart cities in paper 1 and smart city in paper 3. Obviously, the orientation, the structure will be different. So what is your take on that?
To be honest, I did not differentiate between any paper.
Okay.
Whatever question is asked, I'll try to holistically cover. Usually the framing of questions is such that it will orient you more towards geographical aspects or economic aspects in paper 3 and more towards social aspects in paper 1.
Yeah.
So have that kind of smartness that where the question is also oriented.
Yeah.
I think it is needed and it comes with practice. Rest for every subject or for every paper, I prefer a point-wise strategy, including ethics, because it gives a better structure. And from engineering background, so I do not have a very good experience with paragraph.
Okay.
So that is why I use a point-wise approach.
Okay. Coming to importance of diagrams, did you include diagrams in your answers, and how important is it?
It is important. It gives a better presentation, but do not use it unnecessarily. Something that could have been well written in point format, don't make a messy diagram out of it.
Yeah.
Diagrams, Venn diagrams, or you can make a graph, map. Maps are very important.
Okay.
So it is important. It improves your presentation, but don't unnecessarily stuff it for the sake of making a diagram. Make it only when it is relevant, and learn that through practice. That where presentation is better through diagram and where it is better through the other means.
Okay. The other aspect of answer writing is time management. Writing an answer in 7 minutes for a 10 marker and 11 minutes for a 15 marker. So how to inculcate that? How to improve the speed?
The speed will only come when you practice enough. Always time yourself. Whenever you're writing, in COVID period, I had to write from my home because everything was closed. So I wrote online. So what my family has been very supportive. So what they would do, they would take the printout, they would keep it on my desk, and a timer would be placed, and that too for 2:55. I mean, not for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And they would snatch it away and simply upload it on their own. So I had that kind of time management. So just 7 minutes for 10 marker and 10 minutes for 15 marker.
Okay, fine. And coming to the interview, what was your strategy for interview?
My interview strategy was actually very simple. Being well versed with current affairs, whatever is happening around me. Then my own awareness about myself, my degree, my college, my whatever job I have done, my state, my city, my birthplace, my parents' place, because it is also mentioned in the form. Fine comb your DAF, your hobbies, cover every aspect, and then whatever important things are going around. Some facts also can be brushed up. Important facts, like if a report has come, then what is India's rank in it? If there is some very important data which has been released, like labor force participation or something likewise. So just brush up those facts, not all, just a few of them. And mannerisms, I think, are very important. When we go there, we are talking to people who are elderly and who are very, very experienced. So show that respect. Be well dressed as per the occasion. Show that we respect the decorum of the place. And when you enter, bow down and just sit. And bow down doesn't mean a 90-degree bow down. Just a little shake of a head can help that. When you get up and leave, just give them a smile, thank them, bow down like that, and just leave them. Whenever they're speaking, never interrupt them. If you want them to repeat, then just, will you please pardon me, sir? Something like that. If you cannot hear them similar to that, and never show arrogance, be assertive and give reason for your assertion, but don't argue. I mean, some of them appreciate it, but some people might not find it very well.
Yeah.
So just maintain that kind of and give mock test. I mean, I appeared for IASbaba mock interview. It didn't go too well. I mean, I had a lot of feedbacks which I then worked upon. But these things help. Mock interviews will help you frame your right state of mind.
Okay. What about the one-to-one mocks? Was it helpful?
Oh, yes. One-to-one mocks that I had with you. Actually, that it was not about factual information. It was more about framing the questions and thinking in the correct
The thought
direction.
process.
I think we had around 1.5 hour one-to-one and on a series of questions where you were asking me questions and you were evaluating my answers and telling me that how I should be speaking it.
Yeah.
So they help you correct your back. This you said that don't show any bias. Be very balanced. think constitutionally and uphold constitutional ideas, but also think very practical solutions, that life is more important than anything else and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
So I adopted those practices, and I think it helps you enter into that correct frame of presentation also.
Yeah. Fine. Thank you for that. And getting on to the next part of it, that is with respect to current affairs, be it for veterans, somebody who has been reading for 3 or 4 years, or be it for a fresher, current affairs is something that they are not able to decipher out. Or it is just like an ocean. You keep swimming and you don't find the right track. So there are so many issues with current affairs because of the materials that is available in the market, all that. So what do you have to say for that, and what was your strategy for current affairs?
Very simple strategy. The Hindu newspaper,
Yeah.
some compilation from the market, never made notes.
Okay.
And as I said, I didn't even hear to Rajya Sabha videos. I just read the summary. So keep it simple so that the revision is easy, and keep yourself updated. If a topic is not understandable, go to YouTube and just Google it. Some leading news agencies of the world would have covered it. So from there, you can get good content.
Okay.
So I kept it simple.
Okay. So prelims, you said you did not make notes, but
No.
what about mains? Because note making, again, see, it is up to the individuals, right? To their strategy, whether they should make notes or not, whether they should make offline or online notes. So,
Yes,
what was your
yes.
strategy?
I always made offline notes, and the reason was that they were more handy for me. And I like to practice, so writing practice also used to be there. Further, for mains, if you're making notes of current affairs, don't make it from newspapers. Every day news will be updated. Use a compilation, and from there make synopsis. Either you can highlight the compilation. For some topics,
Yeah.
I would highlight, or for some other topics, I would make my own notes. So that depends on topic also. And as I said, for mains, what is the issue, pros, cons, what is being done, what needs to be done, what is the vision, just like that.
Okay. Coming to the revision part of it, see, there are three important pillars for one success. One is the faith, a belief in yourself and the material you're reading or the mentors you talk to. Second thing is consistency, discipline.
So, yeah.
Third thing, I would say revision. So, how important is revision, and what was your strategy to revise?
Revision is very, very important. How to do it is, whenever I was reading, first read, no highlighting, no underlining. Second read, pencil highlight, pencil underline. Third read, pen underline. Fourth read, only highlight the already underlined portions, which are now I'm forgetting. So there would be very limited content to revise. After that, I started putting marks like star marks or something. So the content should be reduced with every revision. So that way, I think I had around 8-10 revisions for each topic. But the content also keeps reducing with successive revisions.
Okay. So was it like, were you doing daily revisions or weekly revisions, or after the subject the revisions were done?
Well, first I completed all the subjects.
Okay.
After that, as I said, 3 months before prelims, I started for prelims. So revision with respect to prelims.
Okay.
Then revision with respect to mains, likewise. But
Okay.
even in my first read, I had completed the highlighting portion.
Okay. What about current affairs? How did you revise?
From compilation, entirely.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Coming to especially the freshers who have started off, they find it difficult to organize themselves, the daily schedule. So what was your daily schedule like? The time management part of it?
Actually, I divided my day into various segments since most of preparation was from my home because of COVID. So early we used to get newspaper a day later. So I used to read it in the evening. And when I woke up, I had a little physical exercise, 4 hours in the morning, 2 hours break, then again 3 hour session, then a 1 hour break, then again session. Just divide your day. Don't get bogged down, and also focus on quality of your reading, not just the hours that you put in, but also the quality that you are able to achieve within those hours.
Okay. So coming to optional, what was your strategy, and what do you want to tell freshers on how to choose an optional?
First is choosing an optional. First and foremost is your interest. The reward, how rewarding the optional is, its past year performance, cost benefit ratio, how much effort needs to be put into the optional for that, the material available for it, and just general your ability to read it for that long and the ability to reproduce in the papers. So I chose sociology because I was comfortable with the topics. I found it interesting. It has a short syllabus. Many resources are available. Good performance in past years, and thus this can be. For optional also, the strategy was to have limited resources. My resources were Nitin Sangwan sir's book as the base material. It was supplemented with BA course of IGNOU for thinkers only, because it requires understanding. Previous year solved papers, 13 years solved papers. There is Chronicle IAS publication. So I use their solved papers. You can see your own. And answer writing, a lot of answer writing is required in sociology.
Okay. And the do's and don'ts, if you want to summarize the do's and don'ts for a fresher in UPSC journey.
The do's and don'ts, I would just say, do's are have clarity, what the exam demands, be consistent, practice, revise, take feedback very seriously. The don'ts would be to not be disheartened when you don't perform in test series well. They are meant for your improvement. To not judge yourself while you are giving the examination, be it at any stage. Don't judge any question. Every question should be taken afresh. Then one don't, I would say, would be to spread your sources too wide. Then you won't be able to revise. And one most important do is to believe in yourself, to have a positive attitude, to make it, as Gandhiji used to say, do or die situation, that I'll just do it. There's no stopping.
Okay.
So that kind of attitude will definitely help.
Okay, coming to the last question, the role of IASbaba in your success.
As I have been mentioning time and again, TLP, the Mindmaps, Rajya Sabha TV summaries, and then interview guidance program. All of these have been really helpful to me, and because they were so spread over the entire journey, it's difficult to pinpoint it to one particular examination. But they were very, very useful to me, definitely.
Yeah. And thank you, Jagrati, for such a wonderful session. There has been a lot of learnings even from my perspective. And usually the interview goes on for 30 to 40 minutes, but this interview I think it's gone for 1.5 hours. I have more than that. So thank you for that patience, time, and most importantly, the examples that you gave will definitely help a lot of students. Thank you once again, and all the best in your endeavors, Jagrati.
Thank you, sir. All the best to other aspirants as well. May the force be with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello guys. The new batch for foundation course of 2022 is going to start from 18th of October in Delhi and from 25th of October in Bangalore. The details are given in the description below. So enroll soon.